Hey, I'm Audrey Hope. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Hope for Relationships. I am the Soul Love Healer, and today we're going to hear from Katie from Toronto, who wants to know how the Adam and Eve creation story still affects us today. So join me for the Adam and Eve effect. Healing is so unbelievably simple. You do what needs to be done, and that's it. Over. Problem solved. Hey, thanks for joining me so we could heal all our issues from the deep level of the soul. Katie from Toronto tweets, I believe, like you, that women suffer from brainwashing and that women need to be educated to what their true story in history is. I know it begins with Adam and Eve. Can you address this so we can help heal the women of the world? Yes. Katie, what if we told the real story to every woman in every city, in every nation, in every part of the world? Think about it. Just like Copernicus, who discovered that the earth was not the center of the universe and how it changed things. If the true story of women was told, imagine how it would affect her, the world, and our consciousness. The real story of women was that women were the goddesses in the powerful goddess religion way before the Bible was written. Women's history goes back 25,000 years. In this religion, she was revered as supreme. And power came through the matriarchal line of mother to daughter. But what men did to her story, the men, the scholars, the priests, was a deliberate and violent takeover. It was not a natural progression. Men have used religion to imprison her and to make her a second-class citizen. And this was done through the power of the story, the power of the myth. Think about how stories affect everything that we do, the ideas, the metaphors. It infiltrates into every part of our lives, how we think, how we behave, the rules we live by. And so the power of the Adam and Eve story affects us today, and we must heal Eve. And we as women are Eve, and so we need to take apart this story. So the story of Adam and Eve. A male God created the universe, and man was created in his divine image. From the rib, Eve was created. So from her husband, for her husband. And then they lived in the Garden of Eden and all was well. And then Eve tempted Adam and she was influenced by the serpent. And then the bliss was ruined. The fall of mankind came and it was all Eve's fault. She must suffer eternal punishment. And so what we are left with today is the effect, the Adam and Eve effect. And Eve needs to be healed because we as women are all Eve. And what we are left with is the victimization that she is number two and she is subordinate to the man. And this is the beginning of the patriarchal matrix. The patriarchal matrix is that man is naturally superior and that is ordained from the heavens above. This is the way that God wanted it. Women is to be obedient, guilty, blamed for the fall of man, and to be eternally punished. The truth of the matter is the goddess was the holy religion, and she was worshipped and revered. But what men did is that they made sex and her religion evil. They said that it was a heathen religion. And so they took her down and they made sexual restraints and morality part of her world, but it was okay for him to do things. I'd like to discuss the power of the serpent and the truth about the serpent in the goddess religion. First of all, it's the Kundalini, the mother energy that rises within our body, and it's a very sacred thing. And the serpent has been found in archaeological evidence that is just mind-boggling. The Babylonian tablets, Ishtar sitting on a royal throne with staff of snakes, the Sumerian texts, inscriptions of the serpents associated with the female deity, the Crete, the snake priestesses, the holding snakes around the body, the snake skeletons that were found, the snake tubes that were used in ancient times to feed the serpents in sanctuaries. The Egyptian goddess religion has cobras. In Greece, Athena, she had a temple beside her Acropolis, which was home to her snakes. we can see that in our ancient history, the serpent has been revered as the divine. And so to make the serpent evil is just another thing that men have done with the Adam and Eve creation myth. The rituals that they did in these temples of the goddess, even making love, was just to revere the divine, and to make women prostitutes, to make women witches, was just their way of stopping the power of the goddess and the patriarchal takeover. When we know the true story of the religion, which we will discuss in my next show, we will no longer be subject to the harmful effect of this story of Adam and Eve. And that is the truth, Katie. And that is why we need to tell the world, every woman on the planet, the true story of our history, and not the patriarchal version of the Adam and Eve myth, which harms us to this very day. On the next episodes, I will continue to talk about the patriarchal crimes against women and how religion has played a role in that. So please join me. I'm Audrey Hope, and this is Hope for Relationships. If you have a question, you can write to me on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. The links are in the description box below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so we can heal all our issues from the deep level of the soul. I'm Audrey Hope, and thanks for joining me. Hey, if you like my videos, and I hope you do, then subscribe and click. Are you gonna click? Come on, click here now. Let's go.